Well, I figured that I would take advantage of our driving time to do a video with a couple of things that were on my mind. Well, a few things. One, kind of coming to light because of this being my first Christmas without Noah. And it's been a little harder for me than I expected. It's kind of made me a little bit sensitive to some things. Namely, two things kind of have happened. One is that I have had the chance to sort of notice narcissism, or at least a self-centeredness in my friends. Now, I understand that I had this big crisis happen a while ago and I withdrew, and then I came back around, but it seems that they well, one friend in particular, because I have three main friends from my old friends that I had from back then. Three main friends that I got back in touch with this year, and only one of them lives in my state. Only one of them lives, well, two of them live within a car ride away, but one of them lives basically in my same town, more or less. So one's up here with me in Washington, one's down in Portland, Oregon, and then one's down in Northern California. And just kind of trying to put myself in their shoes, thinking in my friend's shoes. Because she's busy. She's really busy. She's got a fiance. She's got 4 of her own children. Then she adopted 2 children. And she also has a foster daughter. She's in graduate school. And, she's super, super busy. I totally get that. In fact, she's so busy, I don't even know how she's doing it. But what it is, I think, I'll tell you the other story that's going along with this, and then I'll tell you my conclusion that's kind of coming to. Okay. So she's super, super busy. But she went on a cruise for 3 weeks with her daughter, her one biological daughter, her sister, her only sister, and her mother, the 3 of them. And for 3 weeks, and it just is amazing that she could get away from her husband, her ex-husband, her other 6 kids, her fiance, all that for 3 whole weeks, to do something with her mother, her sister, and her daughter. It's really cool, but kind of amazing that she could pull it off. Well, okay, so put that aside for a second. Okay, then I've got this other situation where I've got my son's girlfriend living with us. Well, long story short is she's ditched us today to go be with her family for Christmas. And it hurt my feelings, and I'm sure it's hurting my son's feelings. And then on top of that, my son had to go to a Christmas event at his dad's house where he got to check in with all of his relatives, including my brother's daughter, my niece and nephew, who I have hardly any relationship with since the divorce 15 years ago. So it's sort of this brutal thing that I'm going through, like this realization about how we talk about putting families together with friends and things like that, but it's not that easy to do, because most people really do feel differently about their blood family, unless they're my family. So my family apparently doesn't. And then the ones that did were my sons, and then I've lost a son. It just is kind of hitting me about how brutal and harsh this whole thing is. And it's like when you have friends, having friends that you don't have a balanced relationship with. When you have friends that don't have as big of a hole in their life, they don't need you as much as you need them. Because she's got a sister, and she's got a daughter, and she's got a mother, and she's got, she's got more than enough people in her life. And so it sort of struck me that even as I was reaching out saying, what are you doing for Christmas? We kind of changed our plans. We're kind of up in the air. That she didn't say, well, gosh, you guys should come over. My family's so small, it's just my husband and my son and I now. You guys should just come over and join us. And she didn't say that. In fact, she kind of said, we're just doing family, but I'd love to see you after New Year's. And so when she said just doing family, that's what hit me. It was like, I'm not family. Even though I had said to her about how I wanted us to be that way. So, but the fact is I wasn't there. I wasn't family because I wasn't there. So I wasn't there through her divorce, and I wasn't there as her kids were growing up because I was dealing with my own stuff. And I've done videos on that about isolation after abuse and all that, because you don't want to be this emotional vampire on your friends. So there are all these different reasons why I was not there. But so even in the relationships that my ex-husband didn't ruin, they still got affected. And so anyway, I'm just kind of not really a big point to all this. I'm just sort of putting this out there to anyone on the holidays who might be feeling a little bit lonesome, that I understand, I relate to. I understand that what it's like to not necessarily have family and still be, I still feel like I'm between, like I'm going to put together a family. I've been in sort of a holding pattern, kind of a cocooning period while I healed up my wounds from what happened, while I got my life squared away. In that time I met my husband. I was going to write my book, and I was thinking that I was going to get my kids, squared away and launched on their lives. That didn't quite work out exactly as I had hoped, but and then I was going to be back out in the world again. So that's yet to happen, and I'm really careful. I'm going to be really careful about how I let people in too, because I don't want to. I have to be really, really careful about who I let in. So, but I thought when I went back to reconnect with 3 old friends, that was going to be a safe bet. But what I'm realizing is that maybe my judgment on people was different than it is now, for one. For 2, I think maybe friends that I lost touch with in my early 30s have changed too. Everyone's gotten a little more fixed in their ways, and I don't know, just it, and like I said, they had gave a long time, 10 years or so, to not even think about me, so maybe they got used to that. But I am missing my son, and I was really upset with my other son's girlfriend for not being sensitive to the fact that we were going to have Christmas without him, and that she was, she wants to be part of our family, and it was just kind of a crummy thing to do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Her mother was like really hard to live with. never met, we live like really close together. She's never met me in person, never called to say thank you for looking after my daughter. Nothing. It's terrible. Never called to say I'm sorry to hear about your son. Nothing. Just really terrible. But anyways, here's a little view of my beautiful landscape. Okay, here's where we're going. Beautiful, snowy, over the mountains. We live on the west side of the mountains in Washington State, and my husband's family is on the east side, over in a town called Yakima, which is where he grew up. So that's where we're headed. Okay. All right. So, if you have any experiences with this kind of stuff, narcissistic friends or selfish experiences, or times when you felt people, I don't know, it seems pretty extreme when something is, something like you're losing a child, and not to have your friends come around seems kind of bad. But anyways, yeah, write to me any stories you have about what's going on with your holidays, narcissistic moms, friends, things, or if you've had any success stories with putting families together with friends, I would love to hear that too. Okay, thanks a lot, you guys.